In our first story, the Functional Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress has heeded and advised by the Council of Elders of the party to slash the 400,000 Ghana cedi filing fee initially announced for flag bearer hopefuls. After a series of meetings on Wednesday, the Functional Executive Committee, acting on behalf of the National Executive Committee, resolved to reduce the required amount to 300,000 Ghana cedis instead. It also extended the deadline for the filing fee, or for filing. Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Boama Otokuno, says from the outcome of the meetings, only aspirants who petition the Council of Elders have a 2-day window to pick the forms. He says the date for the party's January primaries has also been rescheduled to January 26 instead of the initial January 19.
Today, the Council of Elders met. They had a marathon meeting in the morning, considering the petition of the presidential hopefuls who had petitioned them on various grounds, and they came up with some little advice for the National Executive Committee, which was communicated to the Secretariat. So upon consultation with some members of NEC, FEC was granted the leeway to act on their behalf. So we had to organize an emergency FEC meeting, of which the advice from the Council of Elders were considered. And based on the advice, we did a review of the earlier regulations and guidelines that we had released. And what we came up with was that the Section 9 of the regulations, which spoke about the filing fees, was reviewed to capture the new figures for the filing fees. So we reduced the filing fee from 400,000 Ghana cedi to 300,000 Ghana cedis. And for the female aspirants, initially they were going to pay 200,000 Ghana cedis to file their nominations. Now they would pay 150,000 Ghana cedis to file their nominations. And the persons with disability will now pay 100,000 Ghana cedis instead of the 150,000 cedis previously enshrined in the guidelines. Now, a few other changes were also made to the dates for the election. Now, the new date for the election is 26th of January 2019, and we have given some extension for the aspirants who petition the Council of Elders to pick their nomination forms, and they can do that tomorrow, Thursday, and Saturday on the 8th of December. Those are the 2 days that we have given for the aspirants who still want to pick nomination forms and contest the elections. Then the other electoral activities on the calendar has also shifted. So the filing will now be from 17th and 18th, which was previously the vetting dates. And the vetting dates now will be 21st and 22nd of December. So after the vetting, they will do the balloting and they can go and continue with their campaign. These are the decisions that we have made. We have communicated same to the Council of Elders. The final decisions of the Functional Executive Committee has been communicated to the Council of Elders, and we have information that the Council of Elders have arranged a meeting with all the petitioners to communicate or convey same to them tomorrow.
So you haven't communicated to the aspirants yet?
We are not in the position to communicate with the aspirants because they didn't petition us. They petitioned the Council of Elders. So we can only communicate to the Council of Elders that based on their advice, these are the decisions that we have taken, and they would convey same to the aspirants who petitioned them.
Would you say it was an imposition or an advice? Because clearly you were told that you erred by not consulting the Council.
No, it cannot be an imposition because the Constitution makes room for the Council of Elders to advise on any decision. So if the Council of Elders have advised the National Executive Committee, it is just in line with our constitutional mandate to work or consider the advice. Then when the advice is considered, we would have to report back to them that, okay, based on the advice they give us, these are the decisions that we have made. And it is just in line with the procedures of the party.
Now let's head to Parliament, and the minority is accusing government of overpricing 10 road projects under the Phase 1 of the Sino Hydro program, which the House approved Wednesday. Various road projects, including the Tamale and Takrade interchanges, are to be constructed under the arrangement, which ultimately will see Ghana pay the company with proceeds from bauxite. Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo has more.
Ranking member on Parliament Roads Committee, Kwame Agboja, claims 1 kilometer of road and that the first phase of the project will cost 5 million cedis instead of 1 million cedis. He further claims a picture short as part of the budget is costing $60, which he says is overly expensive.
Building an ordinary 2-layer road in 2016 for 1 million Ghana cedi was expensive. How on earth could we accept doing the same thing in 2019 for almost 5 million Ghana cedis? Mr. Speaker, I believe the committee should have done a better job. I hope the issue I raised about one shot of a picture,
your formula is cutting out with
being $60. Mr. Speaker, $60 can buy you a whole camera. We should never accept this. We hope that all this will be cleared out when the value for money is done. We cannot accept one picture for $60 under this particular contract. Mr. Speaker.
Chairman of Parliament Road Committee, Samuel Aipe, has defended the deal, insisting Mr. Agboja does not understand the nature of infrastructure being built.
You can't measure looking at the distance of a road to determine the cost. Looking at this project, Mr. Speaker, we are going to build interchange. An interchange of about 2 kilometers. You can't just add it and say that because the length is this, it's expensive. You must look at the processes. The scope of work is what you have to consider before you determine price. Because when we're talking about the interchange in Tamale, we are talking about interchange in Takrade. We put all these factors into consideration before concluding the cost of the project.
Ranking member on Parliament Finance Committee, Yato Forsen, claims $200 million of the $600 million loan will be used solely to pay interest.
It's an expensive loan in the sense that we are actually asking Sino Hydro to give us $422 million, of which we will be ending up paying $150 million in interest and insurance. So if you are to express it as a percentage of the amount that they are giving to us, we are spending 35% of the amount. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, we cannot be part of that.
Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah has been defending the deal.
We need to embark on these infrastructure projects to develop the dilapidated infrastructure of our country. That point has been made. The second point has been made that when you read the agreement, this financing agreement actually says that up to, it's a ceiling that we are providing for it. And we have mentioned that at the time of these negotiations, the conditions that prevailed have significantly improved. And therefore, the finance minister has given assurance at committee level that he's going to go through and come back to us at the point of execution. Remember that at the time when we were passing some of the other transactions, the all-in cost was sitting somewhere around 1%. This, admittedly, all-in cost is about 7.7%. But we have explained that it's because the risk is on Sino Hydro, and therefore the insurance premium goes up a little bit. I don't think that there are any substantive issues that our friends here have raised, except this fabrication of one picture costing X amount. Look for the agreement, there are copies here, and read and find out for yourself if you find any such thing in there. We are happy to go ahead with developing the infrastructure as outlined in this first tranche, and we'll be hopeful that upon successful completion, we'll have the opportunity to develop the other tranches.
And away from governance issues, 2 women who were screened at various hospitals across Ghana have been referred to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for immediate cervical cancer treatment. The 10 will be given free treatment at the radiotherapy department of the same hospital. This was made possible by the Ghana International Women's Club, an NGO dedicated to improving the lives of women and children across the country. Ifo Evans Chinwe now reports.
I felt very sick. I could barely move. I started praying. By God's grace, I can move now.
This 62-year-old woman is one of the 10 who are benefiting from this intervention. She's a trader. One day, when she returned from the market, she suddenly started bleeding. It was later detected that she had cervical cancer, but she has no cash to pay for the treatment.
After
the tests were done, it was detected I had cervical cancer. Soon as the money for the treatment was mentioned, I screamed. Where was I going to get that amount of money from?
Apart from taking care of these patients' medical bills, the club has also presented a C-arm digital imaging machine to the hospital. Jackie Ahumka Lindsay is the president of the Ghana International Women's Club.
The first thing that we wanted to do was to make sure we understood what cervical cancer was about, the prevalence in Ghana, and what we can do to actually raise awareness so that when we also go around asking for support, we can get the support that we need. And we spoke with WHO, World Health Organization. We spoke with one of the major drug companies that provide the vaccine, and also with General Electric, who gave us a big discount from 180,000 to 105,000. And we decided to focus on starting to raise the funds. And we realized that because it's one of those diseases that can be cured 100% and also can be prevented, it was something that we could actually jump on the bandwagon to not just raise awareness, but also to make sure that we can provide the necessary equipment for treatment.
Dr. Hannah Aite Ani is a senior specialist clinical oncologist at the radiotherapy department of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. She says a woman must not hesitate to visit the hospitals when they suspect something wrong in their bodies.
It's advisable that you present early to the hospital. So immediately there are signs and symptoms which are usually very glaring, especially for the woman. Once you start having a bleeding within your periods or after menopause, you start bleeding. Usually it catches your eye. It's something that won't go unnoticed. So we advise that all women, immediately they notice there's anything wrong, go to the gynecologist who usually manages female-related problems.
The Ghana International Women's Club will also sponsor the cost of maintaining the C-arm digital imaging machine for the next 5 years. This is critical in the fight against cervical cancer and will be used in diagnostics, surgical treatment, and physiotherapy.
And before we go, a Burkina Faso firm has agreed a special insurance scheme to provide personal and property cover for Ghanaian tomato importers and transporters. The whole initiative is part of measures to address the incidence of losses, especially through accidents and other unforeseen occurrences. A JoyNews documentary, Desert Tomatoes, earlier this year highlighted the plight of traders who had to travel to the Sahel to import tomatoes. The producer of the documentary, Prince Sapia, was in Burkina Faso for the high-level stakeholder meeting, and our reports.
In Burkina Faso to ensure both the traders and the goods. Brahim Assisi is the analyst for the inter-regional trade for Sahel and West African countries, the arm that is spearheading the negotiations and interventions.
Two main categories of insurance. The first one is the insurance for the people who are in the bus, in the car, let's say in the truck. That insurance will cover the person who is in the truck in case of accident, in case of death. For accident, if the person is injured, the insurance will pay for the medication 150,000 CFA for all the medical fees. If the person died.
Please, we have more things to talk about. We'll be looking at the stories as they have been published on the front and back pages of the newspapers, but we have some great discussions coming up, and we hope that you will stay with us. We're dedicating the show today on agriculture. Tomorrow is Farmers' Day, but we're focusing on the issues relevant to the discussion and also close to the ordinary farmer. We'll open the phone lines. We'll let you in on the conversation as well, but we know you're going to enjoy it. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll do a review of the newspapers.